What's poppin', dogs? Mr. Allen here with a video on solving quadratic equations by factoring. And for these 4 examples, we're going to focus on using difference of two squares. Let's get it. So we got to be equal to 0 in order to solve by factoring. And we are. Check. Step 1 done. All right, now if I look at these, right, 9, that's a perfect square, meaning I can square root it nicely. It's 3. Square root of x squared is x. Square root of 16 is 4. We have a difference of 2 perfect squares, so we can factor it in this way. It's going to be the same thing every time if you have a difference of 2 squares. 2 factors, they're going to look nearly identical except for one key difference. All right, I'm going to have 3x, which was the square root of 9 and the square root of x. Same with this guy here. I'm also going to have 4 and 4, the square root of 16. One is going to be positive, the other will be negative. Doesn't matter which one it is, but as we see here, we have the same 2 factors other than that key difference right there. Now I can set them equal to 0. I got 3x plus 4 equals 0. And I've got 3x minus 4 equals 0. And now I can solve for x on each one of those. So I'm going to subtract 4 on each side. I get 3x equals negative 4. And then I divide by 3. I get x equals negative 4 thirds. Fraction time. Love them. Then I'm going to add 4 to both sides. I get 3x equals 4. Divide by 3, I get x equals 4 thirds. Whoop, whoop. 2 solutions. Dunzo with the first one. A little cramped. There we go. Boom. Lovely. Awesome. Moving on. 8x squared minus 50. Oh my goodness. Neither of those are perfect squares. What in the heck am I supposed to do here, dogs? Well, what if I were to divide by a common factor? Can I divide all that by 2? I can also factor out all that by 2, right? I could do that. But since this is an equation and we're solving, I'm just going to divide by 2. And now I got 4x squared minus 25 equals 0. All right. Now I can factor using a difference of 2 squares. Woo! Lovely. Equals 0. So square root of 4 is 2. Square root of x squared is x. Those are going to be the same. Square root of 25, that's 5, right? Those are my perfect squares. I'm not actually square rooting in this problem. I'm just thinking about square roots to get my 2 factors. One's positive, one's negative. Doesn't matter. It could have been flip-flopped. I got this bad boy factored, and I can solve. So I got 2x plus 5 equals 0. I'm going to get x equals negative 5 over 2. I'm going to do the 2 steps in my head there. Hopefully you follow along. Otherwise, subtract 5, then divide by 2. This one here, we got 2x minus 5 equals 0. And I get x equals positive 5 over 2. Now, you might be wondering, can't remember if I mentioned this yet, but I'll mention it again just in case. Could I just solve this using square roots? Yes, you could. But this one says by factoring, okay? So you got to follow the directions, and a lot of tests are written that way, where they have it worded so you have to solve it a particular way because we want to see if you can actually solve by using square roots or by using factoring or whatever it may be. In this one, we factor it. All right, next one here. Blue. All right. Do these have a common factor? Yes. I can actually divide both sides here by 10. Ooh, this one's a little squeaky. Maybe I'll swap out. I'm going to swap out. I don't like the squeak. All right. Another blue. Okay. So I got x squared now minus 9 equals 0. And again, very tempting to use square roots. Add 9, square root both sides. But it does say by factoring. So we'll do difference of 2 squares. I'm going to have x plus 3 and x minus 3 equals 0. So set these equal to 0. X plus 3 equals 0. I get x equals negative 3. X minus 3 equals 0. I get x equals positive 3. 2 solutions. Good to go. All right, last one here. X squared equals 64. In order to solve by factoring, as tempting as it is to use square roots, I got to set it equal to 0. Yes, we know that the answer is going to be plus or minus 8, but let's also see in factoring land. All right, so subtract 64. I get, boom, 64 equals 0. And then I've got x minus 8, x plus 8. I wanted to switch it up that time and do the subtraction first and the addition second. Because I did the addition first every time. I wanted to change it up. So I got x minus 8 equals 0. X plus 8 equals 0. Add 8, I get x equals 8. Subtract 8 on both sides, I get x equals negative 8. Bingo bango, boom diggity, just like we thought, plus or minus 8. Most efficient method for a lot of these is going to be solving using square roots. If we're asked to factor, it's just going to be x minus 8, x plus 8, or over here be 3x plus 4, 3x minus 4. Sometimes we just ask you to factor and not solve, but this video is focusing on solving as well, so you get the factoring and you get the solving, you know, right? More bang for your buck there, right? That's a valuable lesson. All right. There we go, guys. That's it for this one here. On to some more dope factoring if you're in the long form video where we're factoring like a boss. Deuces.